This evening, let's explore death, grief, and depression. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa learned to do during the training she received after Return of the Jedi, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Again, this evening we could explore death, grief, and depression that you too could meditate like a Jedi. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a question about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're watching a replay, you'll want to type your question in the comment area below the video. Well, the sun is set, the day is done, and if you're feeling a little bit groggy, then you're welcome to join me in knocking out 2 or 3 repetitions of geriatric step-back squat thrusts before a Buddha image. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path, relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. S on Reddit posted, "Dealing with my dying dog. In the last 12 hours, my 9-year-old but very healthy American Bulldog Mutt has had 2 major seizures. I've spent 7 years with this guy at my side almost 24/7. And today we're discussing the reality that he may no longer be with us in the very near future. I'm typically pretty relaxed and capable of keeping my emotions in line, but this has got me good. I've tried meditation, which helps in waves, but I'm a beginner, and I can't seem to keep myself together for long. How am I supposed to look at this situation? Do not repeat my graveside mistake. At 19, I ignorantly thought that the spiritual path was intended to shield us from painful emotions like a religious version of Mr. Spock. That is the attitude I strove for upon learning of my stepfather's death, and the jaws of depression swallowed me whole. Decades later, when it was Mother's turn to die, I chose to bring rawness into my meditation practice. I wept aloud in the voice of a child, pleading and pitiful. It did not stop cancer from taking my mother, but it did prevent it from making of me its collateral damage. For vulnerability is a key to meditating like a Jedi." Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is supported by the generosity of viewers just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you and you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, poke around the description area below the video. You'll find a Patreon link, a PayPal link, and 2 YouTube buttons, any one of which you can use to make a gift. I think it would be great fun if together as a team we chanted 6 passages of my adaptation and amplification of the Padmakata group's translation of the final meditation manual attributed to Dzalpatrul Rinpoche, a great Tibetan yogi who lived in the late 1800s. Together. What use is rushing around, coming and going, just tires you out. Look how far your wandering has taken you from the Dharma. Now you had better just settle down and relax your mind. Staying put, carefree and at ease, recite this 12-syllable mantra. What use is all you have eaten? It all just turned into excrement. Look how insatiable your appetite has been. Now you had better nourish yourself with the food of somebody. Quit all that eating and drinking and recite this 12-syllable mantra. What use are all your thoughts? They have just brought more delusion. Look how few of all your aims you have managed to achieve. Now for this life's concerns you had better not think too far ahead. Dropping all your plans, recite this 12-syllable mantra. What use is all you own? Property is just clinging. Look how soon you could leave whatever you have got behind. Now you had better put an end to your possessive grasping. Ceasing to acquire and hold these things, recite this 12-syllable mantra. What use is all the time you have slept to was all just spent in a stupor. Look how easily your life is running out in slothful indolence. Now you had better start to exert yourself wholeheartedly. Day and night spending all distraction, recite this 12-syllable mantra. There is no time, there is no time to rest. When suddenly death is upon you, what will you do? Now you had better start practicing this sublime dharma right away. Now quick hurry, recite this 12-syllable mantra. I'm going to tap one moment. Now I'm going to tap button 9 and make our way over to this evening's primary practice text, which is available for free download. Just click the appropriate link in the description area below the video. So I charge no fees, everything I do is free. It's my hope that by this time next week, my adaptation and amplification of Heart Treasure will be available for free download as well. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Let's seize this opportunity to consider how stress is independence is but an illusion, and is empty of any permanence to grasp for shoving and reaching increased stress. We're now going to perform 4 literal contemplations as opposed to figurative ones using rhetorical questions. We're going to silently and mentally recite these rhetorical questions in harmony with our inhalations and our exhalations and our relaxations. Anything that happens in our life, whether pleasurable, painful, or neither, can be brought into the path of love or letting go. This type of contemplation makes whatever befalls us into a precious opportunity to spiritually evolve. Becoming comfortable with the idea of interdependence makes cooperation more of a reality. Cooperation is to love just as competition is to hate. One of the most poignant tools to getting better and better at letting go is to contemplate impermanence. Our most ancient survival drives have wired us to be controlling. And while they may help us to survive, they do not help us to thrive. They do not help us to know peace or joy or love or wisdom. If that is what we desire, then we must recognize that resistance, living in resistance, is utterly unsustainable. Having completed our 4 literal contemplations, we now perform an exercise which helps to prepare our energy for this evening's first silent meditation. Oh, awareness and letting go, please come to this ground that I may master love and that I may master the Eightfold Path. Oh, awareness and letting go, please come to this ground that I may master the Eightfold Path. Oh, awareness and letting go, please come to this ground that I may master the Eightfold Path. And then in the name of letting go, we're now going to contemplate 8 figurative contemplations. Once again, using the format or the paradigm of a rhetorical question. We're going to use melting as a metaphor of impermanence to help us to better leap over the tyranny of our clinging tendencies. And we're going to use absorption as a metaphor of interdependence to help us to leapfrog over the tyranny of our competitive tendencies. How could all places blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this body? How could all bodies blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this speech? How could all speech blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? This brings us to this evening's first silent meditation. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite watching this. As we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite relaxing. Why would we do that? The inhalation of mindfulness accesses the sympathetic nervous system that supports the sensory acuity that makes possible watching. watching the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque. Our sensory acuity makes possible a type of mindfulness that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. That's so effective that the only label we need ever use is simply the pronoun this. But what are we to do with all that stuff that we notice? We meditate. How do we do that? During each exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system is wired for us to physically relax as well as mentally release. We could release our resistance to the presence of that which we hate. We could release our resistance to the absence of that which we crave. We could release our resistance to the loss of that to which we cling. It's approximately 20 minutes after the hour. Let's meditate. we now practice love's mantra contemplation. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from their happiness. May everyone have balance free from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging. With whom we invoke the example of the Muni Wise One, like the Maha Greatly Wise One, Muni, yea, of the Shakas, we so all wish for enlightenment. We so all wish enlightenment for all. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may each sentient being of each world know practice with me in unison. As we chant the mantra, it feels as if golden rays are emitting from a thumbnail so horizontal to a syllable mantra rosary at our heart, lavishing all minds, communication, bodies, and circumstances with wisdom, love, health, and good fortune centered and spontaneous. In tantric iconography, a Buddha's mind of the wisdom of letting go is often symbolized as a one-syllable mantra known as a seed mantra or a bija mantra. Let us lovingly wish that all minds of all beings now be as wise as a Buddha's mind, thus symbolized. In tantric iconography, the loving communication of a Buddha is symbolized by mantra. Let us now lovingly wish that all speech of all beings and the relationships that speech, be it verbal or nonverbal, affects, now be as loving as a Buddha's mantra. In Mahayana mythology, there is the idea of a Buddha's body of light that experiences great bliss. Sometimes in Sanskrit that is known as a Sambhogakaya. Sometimes it is referred to a deva or a devi, which in Tibetan is referred to as a yadam. Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings now be as healthy and happy as a yadam of lore. Excuse me. In Mahayana mythology, there is the idea of a Buddha's paradise. It is referred to as a Pure Land, and in Sanskrit it is known as a Vati. Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances of all beings now be as beneficial or fortunate as a real or imagined Vati. We now turn to wisdom's mantra contemplation. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any. I'm going to strike while the iron is hot and all that good stuff. Whoop, let's fix that bad boy. Let's make sure the display is aligned. It appears to be fabulous. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. We're now going to play, well, yet again, with 4 rhetorical questions. With each inhalation, it becomes very easy to see our circumstance. However, as we physically relax during our exhalation, these circumstances, these exact same circumstances, could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise comprised only of light. As we inhale, our bodies could feel rather sensual. And yet, as we relax into our exhalation, these exact same bodies could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light. How sweet. Let's try this again. So, as we inhale, it becomes very easy to perceive our communications, the communications of our companions, and the effects of the communications upon our relationship, both verbal and nonverbal. However, as we relax into our exhalation, this exact same communication and its consequences could begin to feel as if they was as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. As we inhale, we can clearly perceive the manifold functions of mind, its perceptions, emotions, intentions, reasonings, recollections, and imaginings. And yet, as we physically relax into our exhalation, these exact same minds could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined one-syllable mantra comprised only of light. Let us prepare our energy for our second silent meditation. O love and letting go, please blend with this heart that I may liberate all beings. O love and letting go, please blend with this heart that I may liberate all beings. O love and letting go, please blend with this heart that I may liberate all beings. May all mind, speech, forms, and lots have the wisdom, love, health, and boon of Buddha's mythical Bijam Mandrayadam and Vati. Having sat for the better part of an hour, it may be very refreshing to knock out a few geriatric step back squat thrusts. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May all beings like the Buddha, Master Being, flexible, loving, laid-back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like the Buddha master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate all others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, complete the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. At this very moment, for the peoples and the nations of the earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, or suffering be heard. Rather may their conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase. And may supreme good fortune and well-being always arise for them. Beginning with Kuntu Sangpo and Great Dorje Changdan to Mayung Kandu Sri Lama. Whatever aspirations they have made to benefit beings, may I accomplish them all. May all beings everywhere plagued by suffering, so body and mind, receive an ocean of happiness enjoyed by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled by a mind weighed down by sorrow. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil receive rest and be restored. May the naked receive clothing, the hungry receive food. May the thirsty receive water and delicious drinks. May the poor receive wealth, those weak with sorrow receive joy. May the hopeless receive hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all the medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May they frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the people receive power, and the people... Take two. May the powerless receive power, and the people long to benefit each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain. Until then may I too auspiciously remain to effectively dispel the miseries of the world. Ten and a half hours, we could return to explore the lessons learned from interdependence, as well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy, and if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.